Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing fine and hear me okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. I'm sure some of you are joining us for second time and some of you are joining us for the first time. So I'll quickly introduce few of the basic stuff so that you are all aware about how this program unfolds. And then obviously, we would talk about lots and lots of interesting technical stuff as we move forward, as well as lots of behavioral stuff. While we discuss things, I want to just understand from you as an icebreaker question. What is your favorite AWS service? Which service you like the most? And while you answer this, I'll quickly introduce our team members. So today we have Kavya with us. So I'll add Kavya to stage. And then we have Prasad, who is helping us today with behavioral track and would be helping us with the question answer. And obviously, you all would be knowing Kapil, who answer question like uh, large language model. I would put it like that. So all the best, everyone. And we would have lots and lots of interesting stuff. And I can see a lot of answers coming up. As a quick chat, Prasad, what is your favorite service? One word answer. And for you or Kapil and Kavya too, what is your favorite AWS service?
Amazon EC2.
EC2, good. Bedrock, Kapil,
Same, Bedrock, at least nowadays.
good. Nowadays, I am right now fan of Amazon Q. I'm enjoying it. So I'm using Amazon Q Business for some work, and it's working very well. So thank you, everyone. I will quickly go forward, and then we'll discuss more interesting stuff as we move on that. Now, keep your questions coming. We are monitoring all the chat, and we would respond as much as we can. In case we miss something, just ping us again, and we should be able to get it started again. Amazon Q Business, thanks Jay Prakash. And you have QLDB. That's an interesting one. Gopinath, API Gateway. Manjunath is talking about EKS. Mehran, I can't read Urdu, so I can't understand that. But yeah, probably you should be translating it. AWS CLI. That's a very powerful tool, Uri, I would say, because you could do anything with it. So that makes sense. So thank you, everyone, for that. Let's keep moving forward. I'll quickly introduce things. So we talked about team, and I'll quickly show you BESA program website so that you are all aware that where you can find more information. So we have built a website, and in this website, you should be able to get lots of interesting stuff. Like playlists are there. Best 6 is what you should be looking into if you are new to AWS AI/ML services. There are additional resources also, check FAQs also, and there are some interactive quizzes which you can go into. And if you want to know that how people felt about the program, check the Hall of Fame, Guest of Honor, YouTube channel links are there, and you could also meet us and then volunteer. So this is BESA website, besaprogram.com, very simple thing. Now, for people who are just joining us today, I want to introduce few things so that you are all aware. So this is 8-week program. We started last week, 15 Feb to 5th of April will start. We do live sessions on 3 p.m. GMT, which is 7 a.m. PST and 8:30 p.m. IST. And all these are recorded. You can obviously watch it again multiple times, and if you miss it, shouldn't be a problem. 90-minute session. For 60 minutes, first we focus on the generative AI and machine learning hands-on, and then for remaining 30 minutes, we would have guest speaker who will talk more on the solution architect role. So we will talk about that. Suggested prerequisite, if you're pretty new, we would suggest Best 06 playlist where we have talked about lots of basic stuff required to get started for machine learning. So that's what is in batch 07. Talking about technical track, we are leveraging publicly available AWS workshop. We will first discuss the key concept, theoretical things. So, and then we will start using those workshops so you can see things hands-on. Now, a question which we always get that do we provide AWS account? Answer is not as of now. We do not have AWS account which we can give you for practice. So you need to use your own account for practicing all these things. And if it is your own account, be mindful of associated cost and clean up resources once you are done. And most of the time, a workshop would not cost you more than few dollars, just $1, $2, $3 max, probably in most of the cases. But obviously, you need to clean it up and then remove all unnecessary resources. So even if it is a small investment on your side, we would highly suggest you do it because that would help you to have hands-on and you would learn better in this particular manner. So this is about technical track. Talking about behavioral track, we have guest speakers who would be coming into each session. They are specialists of their domain. They are seasoned Amazonian who have been doing a lot of solution architect related stuff into AWS, and we would be asking them question, and they would be sharing their insight, and we'll have a few minutes at the end where you can also ask question. Shouldn't be a problem at all. And we pick question from the chat for the guest speaker, so please feel free to put those questions. Now, if you are starting now and want to understand how you get the best out of this program, because you are investing 90 minutes of your time and you want to get best return. So first thing we'll say that participate fully. Don't just watch, complete the exercises and then reinforce your learning whatever you have used. Ask questions, then that would be the best way to interact with us. Share your learning. Once you have learned something, share it on social media so that others also know and you can help them also learn. Engage with community. We have Discord channel, we have LinkedIn group. So all your learning you should be utilizing and pasting it there. Challenge yourself. Workshops would have small section which is for basic level, and then it goes into advanced. So once you are able to complete the basic section, try to push yourself on a technical level to go into the advanced level so you can go out of your comfort zone and learn a lot of things. Stay consistent. That is very important. You have to regularly join sessions, otherwise it is going to be lost away. Like last week we had 600 plus live participants. Today we are just seeing 400, and that's already mean that 200 people dropped. But you should stay consistent and provide feedback. Anything which we can improve, anything where we can help you out, let us know, and we should be able to help you in whatever ways we can. So thanks. Let's keep moving forward. Now, for today, we would be having two tracks. As we said, we will be first talking about technical track, where is mastering those prompt engineering technique that I'll take care. And then we have a guest speaker, Camelia, who would help us in understanding how AWS recruiters search for potential SA candidate. So that's what we are going to look into today. Okay. If everyone is excited to get started, give me a +1 in the chat and we will move forward to the technical track. +1 in the chat if you all okay so far. Okay, I'm getting some +1s here. Thank you so much. And there are questions which our team is answering. And if a question get unanswered, please send it again. Probably there are a lot of questions coming in, and that's why we may have lost track of it. Thank you, everyone. Let's keep moving forward. Now, we'll talk about prompt engineering techniques, how we can get most out of a foundational model or a large language model. What can we do to get most out of it? That is the main intention for today. Let me focus by asking you a question. First one, you have to tell me the statement is you consider easy or you considered hard. Simple question. First statement, getting result from large language models. Is it an easy thing to do or is it a hard thing to do? What do you think? Easy. Okay, I'm getting Bhupen saying easy. Yes, makes sense. That seems easy. You just go in, type something, and you get whatever output you are looking for. Done. Kapil, I like it. Context. Yes, in what context it is easy. Yes, that's a good thing. That's a prompt engineering is. We'll talk about it. But now, second question. Getting predictable, consistent result that you could put in front of your customers. Imagine that. You need to have predictable, extremely consistent, and you should be able to present it to your customer. That is where challenge comes in. That I would consider a little hard because foundational model may not have all the knowledge or context which you are thinking about. So we need to make them aware about the context and the background information so that they can make the right decision. And this path of from easy to hard, that okay, I want to make that also easy, that would come from prompt engineering. So if we can have prompt properly framed, we should be able to get a lot of responses from it. Now, one more suggestion before I move forward. I see people have logged in from LinkedIn. So that is fine, but LinkedIn would not allow us to post answer back to you. So I would suggest everyone that you use YouTube channel. So it would be easy for you to get answers also, and we should be able to respond. LinkedIn doesn't allow us to post answers back to you. So please join on YouTube in case you want to get your question answered. Okay, good. Now, prompt has become the new UI. Initially, the command line was the UI. In very early days, you would write everything, and even before, punch card was the UI by which you interacted with your computers. But now prompt has become a new UI. You go with a prompt, and through that generative AI, you are able to get the new content generated for you. So that is what prompt is now. Everything we want to do, it is a UI. Prompt can be text in most cases, but prompt can be also audio. Like I talk to Alexa or Siri, that is all going to be an audio prompt which I'm providing. So prompt has become the new UI, and probably a lot of application would go toward this type of interfacing soon. Now, just to give a context and give an analogy, let's talk about a prompt in real world. I live in London, and lots of time people come here to visit from other places or from other countries, and then they want to get in touch or they want to ask some questions to me because I'm local here now. So let's consider a situation that one of my friend came and then he or she pinged me that, hey, I am in London today. What is a good place for dinner? Okay, this is a question which I have to answer. Obviously, I cannot just blindly say anything. I have to get more context on that. So I would say, nice. So many places are there. What do you want to eat? Because based on that, I can suggest. So then says anything. Okay, this is not very helpful answer. Question goes on, dine in or take out, very valid reason. Then dine in. Okay, I got at least some more context, but not too fancy. Okay, so I know I cannot recommend them to go to a Michelin star restaurant or go and check the Hell's Kitchen from Gordon Ramsay here. So that's not going to happen. So I know now this information. Now I suggested London is quite famous for fish and chips if he wants to do that. So then he says, okay, nope, I'm vegetarian, so I'm not going to use that, do that. Fine. Oh, sorry, do you want Indian food? Now, again, no, headed in morning. Then again, Thai. Then he says, okay, there is a nice place near to Paddington. That's what I suggested. But then how far is that? Again, I have no clue where he's staying. So now I say, where are you? And now I say, he says, staying in Canary Wharf. And then I come up with the suggestion that that will be far. Then how about Italian place? Italian place he loves. Then okay, tries easy. It's nearby. And awesome. Thank you. What you are seeing here is a real life prompt. Now consider the same question's answer. I had to recommend them a restaurant, and I had to go through so many hoops and complication to suggest a restaurant to them. What if they have created a prompt something like this? Hey, I am in Canary Wharf, London today. What is a good Italian place near me for dine in tonight? This is a complete prompt, right? I do not need to dig further information from here. I get all the information. I get the context that he is in Canary Wharf, he or she. I know that they are looking for Italian and they are interested to dine in, and they don't want to go very far because they are looking for a nearby place. And this information helped me in answering it much faster. Okay, try Zizi. It is nearby. And Zizi is obviously a good restaurant if you're looking for Italian food. Hope you got the context. Hope you got the information that we can solve problems much easier by providing lot information in a very structured format, so it becomes easy for others to make a decision. And same applies for large language model also. All right, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit more on what is going to be a prompt. So what prompt is? Prompt is a natural language text that requests the generative AI to perform a specific task. Okay, now I ask my model prompt, what is 10 plus 10? Now consider you are a large language model and you are responding to me. So can you please answer this question in the chat? What is 10 plus 10? Simple question, no complication. Please give me answer. What you think is, what is 10 plus 10? Anyone? 20, 20, 20. Yeah, everyone is responding with 20. Makes sense. It is 20. That makes sense. Aishwarya is going for 20. Good. And now I will give you 5 answers which are not at all related to this particular answer which you have provided. So let's go ahead and talk about that too, that what I am trying to explain it here. Give me a minute. I have to hide the current comment. That's good. Now, you already had exactly. Now the question, Nitin is asking question, is it 10 INR or $10? See, it will still be the same question, right? It is an algorithm output. Exactly. So let me give you some answer. It looks like a question. Why? Because there is a question mark. Don't just think it is going to be a mathematical answer. What if this 10 and 10 was in binary? Right? So it could be a different answer. So I need context. It could be a question. It could be a line written in English. Yes, this is not a wrong answer. That is exactly true. Then it is a mathematical problem which we want to solve. It could be possible that it is a mathematical problem. Then I may call it, hey, it is just alphanumeric text. That is also statement is right. And then I could say 10 plus 10 is an addition problem, means we are trying to do addition, we are not doing subtraction. You get my point? So idea here is that the same wording may have different meaning in different context. It could be any statement exactly. So if I have asked my model that, hey, instead of saying what is this, if I have asked that please go ahead and solve the problem, if I had asked it, let me see if I can write here. So if I have said solve, what is solve 10 plus 10, then it would make different meaning. But right now, I'm not very clear on that. Now, see the different prompt which I have given here. Another prompt I provided to my large language model that you are a sales assistant for a clothing company, a user based in Georgia, United States, is asking you where to purchase a shirt. Respond with three nearest store location that currently stock a shirt. Extremely well created prompt, and that is going to help us that we would have a idea on how they will be answering with this. So this is a very well crafted prompt rather than just a vague prompt. Okay, good. Let's move forward. Now, why we need prompt engineering? First of all, I always say that you should focus on why component, why you are doing something, why you need prompt engineering, why is the reason we want to go into depth of it. So let me give you an idea for that. What we are looking for customizing the foundation model. Any model I'm using may not give me exact same result as I'm expecting, and that's why what we need to do, we need to customize. Let's talk about that customization now. So why I may customize? Because I want to adopt it to a domain specific language. Let's say I work into field of law or I work into field of marketing, my wording will be a little different, right? Let's say I'm into a grocery store, and when I say don't put all your eggs in one basket, it may have a literal meaning. But if I am into a finance domain and I'm saying don't put all your eggs in one basket, I would mean that, hey, I want to not have all my investment into one place. So domain specific language is required here. Then we want to enhance performance of specific tasks like finance or technical domain. That's why we need it. And then we need to improve context awareness when the response is given to me. This is all we are expecting from these prompts. That's why we want to customize. And now, customization can be complex, can have a lot of time requirement, can cost us a lot, and then can be having a lot of quality also in that. So what we are doing here, prompt engineering is the easiest way to get started. Whatever the model is giving you, you could customize it by giving it a proper prompt. You can use RAG for it. Obviously, when you use RAG, you would be able to give better quality, but it will cost you money, it will cost you time, and it will make your architecture a little more complex. Then you could fine tune your model, completely possible, and we'll be discussing all these things into our training. And then you could train a foundation model from scratch. So what you are seeing here, these are some common methods of customizing your foundation model, and the easiest one to get started here is prompt engineering. I hope everyone is following along and understanding what is the context of prompt engineering, why we need prompt engineering. Okay, now prompt engineering, if I go into a little bit more theoretical definition, don't worry, we'll go into lab in a minute. So art and science of asking better question to get better answer, is that what we call a prompt, right? Prompt is basically art and science both. We need to have creativity, and we need to also apply some scientific knowledge in that so that we can get the better result from it. So now, if I ask you the same question, what is 10 plus 10? Right? That's what I'm asking. So what is 10 plus 10? You could say answer 20, but let's see now. What I do now, I give you a context. I say 1 plus 1 is an addition problem. 1 minus 1 is a subtraction problem. 1 into 1 is multiplication, and 1 by 1 is a division problem. And now I say, hey, now answer what is 10 plus 10. And I'm sure now you would now say 10 plus 10 is an addition problem. So what we did, we added little context information or some chain of thought information to my model, and now it is able to give me better prediction or better outcome. That is what prompt engineering is. So what I did here, I just added some context. That context helped them to understand and then make a suggestion. So we will go ahead and go for this. So what all the round approach we have, we are discussing that SGV, don't worry. So ability of an AI model to generate response or make prediction based on the specific context provided is called in context learning. Okay, let's move forward now. What I'm going to use here, I am going to use Amazon Bedrock for showing you some demos. And this Bedrock service is available in most AWS region. And through that, you should be able to interact and then access your application. So I will be using Bedrock. There are multiple ways to use Bedrock. It is an API driven service, as you all know. You could use it directly. I can use it by sending an API call, or I can use a playground which is provided into web console itself. So I don't need to go and open a notebook or something. Or you could use it using your AWS SDK, where you would code like Java, JavaScript, Python, and all. And through that, you would be able to deliver the required result. So we are going to go and talk to Amazon Bedrock. All right. I'll now go into console and then show you some detail. Which workshop I'm going to use, I'll explain that in a minute. So this is my Bedrock console, right? Now, we are now seeing here that I need to enable model access. By default, we do not have every model enabled. So what we do here, we go into model access, and then depending on my use case, I enable specific model. It depends on what you are trying to do. You may be trying to predict some information, statistical, some mathematical thing, you want image related data. So based on that, you would be performing and enabling any of the model. Like let's say if I do not have Nova Reel available, I could go ahead and say request model access, and depending on some more background information, they would enable or may not enable your model. But most of the time, common models are available for everyone. If you are looking for a very legacy model, they may have further question to you, and then you should be able to get it. So right now, as you could see, I have few models enabled. It purely depends on what your context is and what you need. Based on that, you could have selected any model to get started. And there is a way to compare output from the model also. So it would be easy for you to select a proper model. And if you want to know how to select a model, there is a different section we'll discuss maybe in some time. Okay, now, if I see here, I can go to this overview tab and it tells me what is my foundation model. We need to have chat, text, image, video type model, some builder tools. So a lot of information is there, fine-tuned models, then imported models and safeguard information, all this data. Here are my providers information. So I could go ahead and check those provider. And if you look here, I have this playground, which gives me a way to interact with this particular model. So playground is available for chat or text models, or I could have utilized image or video, and from there I could get started. So I am selecting chat model here. And if you look here, I have option to select chat mode. Maybe it is an interactive with a context sensitive type of thing. But right now I am interested into a single prompt. I want to send a request. I get a response. That's all I'm looking for. So that is my single prompt, which I have selected here. Now, if you select here, there is an option for you to select model. There are different model you could have selected. You could obviously bring your custom model here, as you see, but I am going to select some of the common models which are available. Some of them are disabled. That's completely fine. But in case you want, you could have enabled any of these models. Should not be an issue. Okay. Now, let's see a simple example. Let's say I ask this question to prompt through prompt. This is the Claude model which I am talking to, and I say, you are high school physics teacher. Answer question in one sentence. Explain quantum entanglement. I'll zoom in into next time, Ritesh. Thank you. I'll zoom in a browser in a minute. So what we are seeing here, you are a high school physics teacher. Answer question in one sentence. Explain quantum entanglement. Complicated question. I asked my model, and model has responded with me something like, it is a phenomenon of two particles interact in such a way that the quantum state of each particle cannot be described independently. So yeah, that can be the one thing. But if my nephew, who is like say 6-year-old, he asked me the same question, I cannot go ahead and answer in this manner. So what I need to do now, I need to give a persona to my prompt. Now next persona, I am saying that, hey, you are an excited 3-year-old. Answer question in one sentence. Explain quantum entanglement. What I did here, I just provided a persona and said, you are 3-year-old and behave like a 3-year-old, and then answer me the question. Now we say, woo woo. The tiny DDs can talk to each other even when far apart. Obviously, it does not make scientific sense, but it's still okay to quench the curiosity of the 3-year-old. That's what we did here, is something called persona. very simple. You could say I am a sales agent, say I am a friendly customer support executive. I could say I am a very friendly person who wants to talk. I'm a consultant, I'm a solution architect. So you could go ahead and utilize all these things. Now Roger has a question. I can hear Ashish as I can hear the sound twice. No idea on that. Anyone else having sound issue? Slower, I would try, Roger, but I'm not a slow talker. So I'm little confused. I may not be able to talk slow, but yeah, I'll try. I don't see Nova real model. That's completely fine, Roger. That should not be a problem. It depends which region you are, and based on that region, it would be different. Now, I don't expect that whatever I'm doing right now on the screen, you should be following that as it is. These sessions are recorded, so to get the best outcome, I would say go ahead and then you watch the recording, pause it that time, slow it down. That all would be there in YouTube. You would be able to utilize all these things. System and user, Vijay will talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about when we talk about system prompt. I'll explain that. Can we add closed caption to class? Not on the live class, Lady Faye. You would be able to do it on YouTube. So once this gets posted on YouTube, YouTube generates automatic captioning. So you should be able to get that caption there, but not on live. StreamYard doesn't have that live captioning functionality as of now. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, I am going to use two workshops here. And again, it depends on what your use cases are, depends on what you want to achieve. You could use both, you could use one. I'm not going to do the full workshop, but I'll do the workshop in the context of prompt engineering. So first one is focused on this Amazon Bedrock workshop. It focuses on prompt engineering techniques. Second, which I will pick some information, which will be use case specific information, which I'm going to get this from Build and Scale Generative AI. So these are the two workshops which I'm going to use to get started, and we will share link for that. So don't worry. So you would have link and you can practice all of these things on your own. Should not be an issue. Let me bring these workshop to you so that you could understand what we are going to do here. So this one is my Amazon Bedrock workshop. Okay. Now, what you see here, there is an option which says at an AWS event. So if you are joining an official AWS event where they are giving you an account, you would be going through this process. This is not where we have AWS account for you. So what you need to do here, you need to go through self-paced setup. Saying it again, you have to use self-paced setup. That would mean that you would have to have your AWS account, and I would highly recommend that you follow these initial instruction first. Like it says, this should be run in US East 1 and US West 2. So makes sense because maybe they are using few feature or services which are only present in US East 1, or they have tested in US East 1 and US West 2. So make sure you apply it there, and you are running workshop in SageMaker Studio. Here is a recommendation, what type of instance you should use if you are using model customization where you need. Now what happens here, that we can see here there are multiple sections of the workshop. Not for every section you need everything. Like I will not even provision settings which are downloaded here or a GitHub repository and all, because the first section of prompt engineering does not require me to have this GitHub clone and a setting and configuration. So I am going to go ahead here and use prompt engineering. So prompt engineering is what I am going to utilize here, right? That is the first workshop. I will use this section which is called prompt engineering. And you do not need to implement any cloud formation for it. You could just open up your AWS account, go to Bedrock, enable the required model which it suggests, and then you should be good. You do not need any GitHub or any programming language interfacing. Second workshop I'm going to leverage here is this Build and Scale Generative AI application with Amazon Bedrock. If you look here, again, same thing, prerequisite account setup, Bedrock console walkthrough, and Lab 1. Lab 1 does not require you to have any programming knowledge, or you do not need any interfacing or IDE type of thing. So I'll use this, and if you want to go further where they are using Cloud9 and all, then you can utilize it. Otherwise, you are good to have Lab 1 completed, and then you are good to have prompt engineering completed at least. So let's go ahead and talk about this prompt engineering technique. Okay, I'll pause for a minute. Anyone has any question related to self-paced labs? I'll repeat myself. We do not have AWS account here. we suggest you use your own AWS account for performing these activities. And right now, I would suggest you just watch it, and then later the recording will be available immediately. So once your recording is there, go ahead and then start practicing on your own, because you would be able to then pause, then rewind and slow down if you need to. Links, yes, I'll give you. Give me a minute. Let me get the links for you first of all, so it would be easy. And we will this time we'll post the link into the YouTube comment section so that everyone would be able to get hands-on. Should not be an issue. Give me a minute. I'll give you the link for the workshop right away. Let me see if I can put things into chat. Okay. All right. These are the links which I just provided into the chat. Everyone should be seeing these two links now, as I just pasted them. And probably it got broken by the dot or something. So make sure you just follow this. So we are going to discuss these. So what is prompt engineering? What is the structure of a prompt? This is important. See this one. So here we are saying summarize the following restaurant review. This is the instruction. Ahmed, link is broken. You just copy paste it, and then probably because of dot it got broken. So let me put it into private chat to team members, and probably they should be able to help you out there. Okay. Yeah. So two chats, sorry, in the private chat to Prasad, Kavya, and Kapil, I have sent the message. So please use that and then display this information. And I would be keeping this into email also. So don't worry, you will get the link. Now, summarizing the following restaurant review instruction, then I am providing a context which says restaurant is Luigi, its location is Naples, Italy, specialty is pasta. That is the information I provided, that hey, I'm talking about a restaurant. That what type of restaurant, who is specialized into pasta, and who is in Naples, Italy. That. Then I provide the input. So this is a review, maybe a customer posted on my website of this restaurant. This says we are passing through SF and this and that. And now I say, okay, please generate a summary for me. That was my requirement. So summarize the following restaurant review. So I provided instruction. I given it a context, and then I provided the input. And now model is able to provide me the output. Output is Luigi's great Italian restaurant with delicious pasta and food, good service. Now, if you do not provide the context, then it may be a little confused. It may not know the name of the restaurant. It may not know where it is located and what is its specialty. So that's why what we have done, we have provided it information and instruction, then context and input that helped it to get the most out of it. And that's how we could provide it. Now, there are different mechanisms of prompting. That is called zero shot, one shot, chain of thought. So we'll talk about some of them. Let's talk about what is one zero shot prompting first of all. I go ahead and ask a question without saying anything to my model. Just basic question. So see the here they are doing this into Claude 3 Sonnet model, single prompt, and I'm going to ask this question. I'll show what the question is, and let me go ahead. Let me zoom in a little bit more so that you could see these things into a bigger context. Hopefully it should be okay. Okay. So I'm going to select a model here, and that select model is Anthropic. And I say, hey, Anthropic, I'm going to use your Cloud 3 Sonnet as a model. Applied it. Okay. Now, here is my request. I am proving this information. Now, every model may have its own way of interaction. Like when we talk to someone in English, we say hello and good morning. But when I'm talking in Hindi, I may say namaste. So same thing, every model may have its own mechanism of interaction. So here I am asking question, I'm saying, hey, I am human and I am asking this question, and assistant is my model. Assistant, tell me the chemical 1 and 2 are here. So I am saying, human is saying sulfuric acid reacts with sodium chloride and gives chemical 1, blank space, chemical 1, this is a tag, and then second chemical is what is resulted. I have no clue what it is. Maybe I'm solving a scientific problem here, or there is a question in my test. Now I want to know, hey, assistant, tell me the chemical 1 and chemical 2 are, what these two are. And now I go ahead and say run, and now my model runs and will be displaying some information to me. As you could clearly see, my model has provided me this information that H2SO4 react with sodium chloride, See, I have not provided this information that it is called NaCl or H2SO4. It knows because it has learned from vast data set. And then it says the balance equation, chemical equation is this, and therefore the missing chemicals are hydrochloric acid and sodium sulfate, right? Got the point? So I just asked the question without giving a context. That is what we call zero shot prompting. I just asked the question, didn't provide any lot of context information, and I got my response. That is called zero shot prompting. Not very accurate all the time, but it is the easiest one to get started. And hopefully this thing is clear, right? And obviously now you could go ahead and change this context. You could go ahead and change it to something else, and that would start responding to you. Should not be an issue at all. So that was the first thing we did, was a zero shot prompting. Let me continue with the workshop. We'll discuss few more details here. Now, few shots. What is few shots? I give you some example, right? So I say dog has puppies, then I say buffalo has calf, and then I would say lion has cub, and then I will ask you what is, so deer has, and then I put a question mark. What we did here, we provided some information for my model to comprehend from. So I said that these are my tweets. Let me copy this information, take it to the model, and we'll try to see. Let me clear it up. This is a nice broom which I can use to clear things up. And now I go ahead and say here, see this. What I'm saying, a tweet is there, I hate it when my phone battery dies. And I said model, it's a sentiment is negative. My day has been great, sentiment is positive because there is a good word great here, right? Die is probably a negative word. And then this is the link to the article. This is a neutral statement. It does not show whether it's good or bad. It's a neutral statement. And now I ask a question. This is the new music videos are incredible, or let me change it. I love BESA program. And now I ask my model, hey model, predict what the sentiment is here. What my model has now, model has some references to check that what we mean by sentiment. And it knows if somebody has used the word hate or dies, probably it is negative. Then we have my day has been great, looks like a positive statement. Here it could not find any type of word like which is great or dies or maybe hate. So it says looks like neutral. And now I say I love BESA program. Probably this word is having a positive meaning. Let's see what my model is going to respond. I run it and let's see what my model responds with. My model response, I love BESA program. Its sentiment is positive. Get my point? So what we did here, we made our model aware about little bit of similar type of things, and based on that it is able to deliver the required results to me. That is what we have done, is called few shot prompting. So see this one shot prompting. I say I want to fly from Los Angeles to Miami, and then assistant report the air code codes LEX and MIA, and then I ask the same question, I want to fly from Dallas to San Francisco, and now I say assistant respond me, and now assistant is going to respond me with the information we have. So this is one shot. One shot means I have given one example, and based on that it is resulting me the outcome. That is one shot prompting. Zero shot, didn't provide anything, ask the question, that is zero shot. Hopefully now you know why it is called zero shot or why it is called one shot. And then we had few shot prompting. What we do in few shot prompting, we say, hey, humans say, I hate it when my phone battery dies. Its statement was negative. Second was a positive statement. Third was a neutral. And now I am asking that I have a tweet. Please tell me the sentiment of it. So I have given it few examples of the outcome I'm expecting. And based on that, it is predicting. And that's why it is called few shot prompting. Are we clear on this? Question, doubt, confusions? The next technique we can use is called chain of thoughts. What is this chain of thoughts prompting? Let me go ahead and explain these things. In chain of thoughts prompt, I give step 1, step 2, step 3, or many steps, and based on that, my model is able to provide the outcome for me. So we'll see that, right? So let's say I give you a problem to solve a mathematical problem which says 3 plus 2 and then whole square, and give me the answer of it. Now what you are going to do? Obviously, you will not be able to solve that as it is. You have to apply some formula for it. So you would be applying a formula, and that would be a plus b square. So you will say a square plus b square plus 2ab is my formula. So what I need now, 3 square, 2 square, and then 2ab, and that is where I will be getting the outcome. So I am going through one step. I wrote down the formula, I then replace the value, and then afterward I would be getting the output. That is what we call a chain of thought. I am thinking logically from step 1 to step 2 to step 3. That is what we mean by chain of thought prompting. I hope everyone is following along. I'll give you some more examples so you would be able to relate. So enable a complex reasoning capability, include few short, and then provide transparency to model output. What happens here? Let me explain that. This is a common document which you will find into the white paper. So see this, what happens here. I go to my model and say, model, Roger has 5 tennis ball. He buys 2 more cans of tennis ball. Each can has 3 tennis ball. How many tennis ball does he have now? Answer is 11. Done. And I ask another question. The cafeteria had 23 apple. If we use 20 to make lunch and bought 6 more, how many apple do they have? Model is not able to give me the right answer. Is he dumb? No, he's not dumb, but he does not have a given method to think thoroughly or think step by step. It is just generating answer for me. What I could do instead of that, so here was one short example. I gave one example and then I asked the question, and then model gave me the wrong answer. That was the wrong answer. You could do the math. I had 23 apple, 20 used, 3 left, we bought 6, so answer should be 9. Somehow it is calculating 27. So what we do instead of that, see, now instead of just saying answer is 11, I say model, how I achieve to answer 11. See this, it's the same question. Roger has 5 tennis balls, so I explain it to model. So Roger started with 5 balls, 2 cans of 3 tennis ball, each in 6 tennis ball, which means he has 5 plus 6, 11, and that means he has now 11 tennis balls. So I have explained it, how it is going to solve a particular problem, what is the chain of thought, and now I ask the same question and see what model is doing. Now model says, okay, the cafeteria had 23 apples originally, done. They used 20, so it reduces 23 minus 20, so they had 3. They bought 6 more apples, so they have 3 plus 6 is 9. The answer is 9. What we did here, we made the model think logically step by step. That is what we call chain of thoughts. That's what we have achieved. Let me show an example in the console so you could relate to it. So I'll go back to this, and here is my single prompt, and here is my chain of thought. What we do, let's do this. Let's ask this question. I am taking partial section here. I'll show what is inside in a minute. Okay. So this is my question, which says, on a given week, the viewers of TV channels were Monday 6500, Tuesday 6400, Wednesday 6300. Question, how many viewers can we expect on Friday? And I ask the question and say run. Let's see what it comes up with. It says, hey, unfortunately, with the given information, it is not possible to determine or predict the number of viewers for Friday. He is not able to logically think. I can clearly see a pattern that every day I am getting 100 viewer drops, as you could clearly see. But model is not that smart enough. So I have to make that model smart. How I'm going to do it? Let me show the thing. So now I say, hey, question's answer is based on the number given and without any more information, there is a daily decrease of 100 viewers. If we follow this on Thursday, what is going to be? I provide this explanation to model, and now model is able to give me the right answer. Let's see this now. I go ahead and then I say, okay, let me clear this out. Give me a minute. And I put this information. So I explained it that how to come to conclusion. So first says 100 viewers dropped in first day, second day, then again 100, and therefore this and that. So let's go ahead and see how we can expect or what we should expect on that. And see this keyword, I said think step by step. So what happens now, it starts thinking step by step rather than being in a hurry to generate the answer. So that's what we are doing here. And if I say run, what happens now, it should be able to run and give me some answer associated with it. So that's what I am going to do here. So I provided some input and it should be providing me some output in a minute, right? So see this, now it estimated. Now it may be a little smaller, so I will copy it to a notepad so that you could view it properly, that what it did to logically think through the problem I have presented to my prompt. See this one here. So given information, step 1, find the number of viewer on Thursday, done. Then find the number of viewer on Friday, done. And then come to Saturday. So what it did, it has started thing by step. Now Vidya is asking, is the crucial keyword chain of thought is step by step? In this model, Vidya, yes. In other model, it could be little different. Or some model directly use chain of thoughts. Like if you have used DeepSeek, just giving an example here. So let's say I go to deepseek.com and I just ask a question to this. What is AWS? And I ask a question. See what it's doing. It is going and saying, I am thinking. And it would now come up with some answers associated with, though it is not displaying, but behind the scene it is displaying the same chain of thought as we have asked this particular model to work on. So that's what chain of thought is. So see this, it is now displaying, okay, what I'm doing, okay, so I need to figure out AWS is. Let me start by recalling my mention of AWS. I have heard before. So what it is doing now, it is chain of thought, it is following. So it is thinking what context it is. Is it AWS? Could be American Welding Association or American Welding Society also, but probably it is not. So that's why it is trying to understand what it could be. So this is what you are seeing here is a model thinking on its own. That is in a way is a chain of thought which we are seeing here, right? Drop down still have single prompt. Should that be changed? Karthik, it does not need to be. Let me show back to what you were saying about, but hopefully now see this. This is still thinking. So DeepSeek is still thinking, and now it has come up with the answer, which is of my liking, and it has given me more detail as we are seeing it here. So that's how we could utilize it. That's how my chain of thought prompting is doing. All right, good. Let me close DeepSeek and come back to where we were. Now, in the context here, I have used mode chat or single prompt. Chat is when it would remember what I said before. So let's say I'm doing a conversation, that is a chat. Okay, I will say, how are you? What you did yesterday? What is your favorite color? So this is a chain of thoughts, which is I'm doing a chat, one-to-one communication where previous context is there. If somebody says my favorite color is pink, I would say, why you like pink? So that is a chat. Single prompt, I'm looking for a single output right now, and I don't want you to remember what I asked you before. Don't frame your answer based on what I asked you before. That's what is the difference between a single prompt and a chat. Hope this thing is clear. So this is what we did, and this is a very simple lab, and we are able to get to the end of this particular section, prompt engineering. So see, I did not had to deploy any code or did not had to run any cloud formation. I could still go ahead and do this. Now, if I'm going further, there may be some more detailed architectural things required. So if you want to go further, like zero shot generation, code generation, summarization, then probably you would be needing more hand holding, more code based approach. So like this one takes me to GitHub, and then I would be cloning those particular documents, and then from there I would be starting. So that is what my coding exercise would do. So we give you a step, and then based on your interest you could stop there, or you could keep on moving forward to learn further. All right, so that is what we talked about is basic prompt engineering, and we have still more time. So we'll talk a little bit more on the second lab also, which is more on use cases of what we have discussed so far. Anyone? Hopefully everyone is enjoying. So give me a +2 in the chat if you are enjoying so far. +2 in the chat if you are enjoying so far. All right, okay, good. Let me use this time to drink some water. All right. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you giving feedback here. Now, second lab is also starting with prompt engineering, but it goes a little bit more in detail. So here I am using second lab. Again, you could go ahead and use optional thing like enable Titan or enable any other model of your choice. It is up to you. And then you could go ahead. Same thing, instruction, context, user input, output indicator, and that is how I would get my output resulted. Right now, some model may have a different way of asking question. Like here, if I'm talking about Anthropic Claude model, it may have a different way of answering and performing question. So let me go back and then change this particular model. And instead of Claude 3 Sonnet, let me use here Anthropic. And which model they are trying to use here? Let's see, Claude 3. So yeah, that is fine. I'm using Claude 3, I guess. So yeah, Claude 3 Sonnet. Let me use Claude 3 Haiku here if I need to. So I can use any of these model if the need be. Now, coming further here see the question. Its method is a little different. It's a system. You are a team lead. Now, somebody was asking me that, can I give a context all the time? Yes, you could do that. So depending on the model, you could go ahead and provide some system prompt. See the system prompt. So I could say, I will always want answer in Spanish. So always answer in Spanish, right? You get my point? And then I say, okay, let me run this information again. You get the idea? So now I don't have to tell every time, give me answer in Spanish. I have set the context, I have set the system before. System, whatever comes from my request now, go ahead and put it into Spanish. So that's what I said, the overall context of my conversation through the system prompt. Here you could say, act like a 3-year-old kid. And then I could go ahead and then get the answer for the things which we have provided here. Probably, so see this one, it is going to be more elaborative now because it is trying to explain few things to a kid of 3 years. You get my point? So you could set system prompt and it will give you overall context to get started. Ashok, zoom in. I'm not sure. I'm already on 110 plus, I guess. So yeah, it should be good enough to see. Hopefully it is clear. Okay. Now, moving forward, so here we can perform vision prompt guide like here. This we can follow, and there is again inference parameters, stop sequence, all this information you can change. Let's use this to perform a text summarization. So I want to perform some text summarization. So here selected the chat playground, text playground, and I selected Amazon, and I am going to select a specific model, which is Amazon Titan Text G1 Express. So let's go ahead and change that. So I change this and I go to my Amazon model and Titan G1 Express. That is the model I have selected, and I'm going to use this model. Let me clear this thing out. I don't need all this information as of now. What I am trying to do here. So I want to ask this model and see, this one has a specific format. What its format is like this. So this the following is an announcement in the form of blog post by AWS. I will put my text here and then summarize the above in one paragraph. I am asking it to summarize the text and I would provide this information. Here is the text which I am going to use for my application. So here is the text which is coming from this particular blog. I can copy paste it, or they have given me a text format here instead of this all HTML. So I'm going to use it. Okay. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, let me see what you want me to do. So you want me to perform these operations. Let me go into Notepad so it would be easy. So here is my requirement. The following is an announcement in the form of blog post by AWS, and I have to insert the text I have. I will go back, copy all this text here, and then make my prompt ready. Instead of this, I'll put this, my text here. So this is my request, and this information I am going to give to my model, and my requirement is summarize the above in one paragraph. That's what I'm looking for. So I'll go back to my model and provide this information here and ask it to provide me the summary of it. It is running and it should be giving me some output soon. Okay. So what we did here, we given a prompt, and again same thing, prompt engineering comes in. Now it is looking for the keywords, and based on that it is providing me the information. Now you could clearly see here that input was this many character, output is this much, 174. So it's summarized, and then it took this much of latency for me. Let me copy this information and put it into chat here again. So this is what the summary it has generated. So if you are reading a document and it is too complicated, go ahead here, get the summary, and you are good to get started. You don't need to read the whole document. It has given you the summary here. You could take it further. You could go ahead and then even leverage it to perform code generation. Let me give you a sample example here. So here we have our post call analysis. So in this post call analysis, we have this text information, which is a customer talking to an agent and then agent informing something to them. And I can perform sentiment analysis on that. Maybe I want to use Anthropic Haiku model for that. So I would select it, put this information, and I can then perform my analysis on that. And it will tell me, okay, is it a specific good sentiment or bad, or customer is happy or unhappy, we will be utilizing these type of information. Now, one use case which I want all of you to try is about code generation using multimodal prompting. What you could also do, you could go ahead and give it an image to analyze. Images are supported in some model, so you could upload the image. So this is the image, I would save it and then say to my model, please go ahead and then use it for some analysis, and my model would be able to then generate something for me. So I have this lab 2 ml. This is the image I am going to use. What we are going to do here, we want to analyze it, and for again chat, we would be utilizing the model here, and then ask the model to perform a question using Claude 3 Sonnet, and I'll upload this particular image here. Give me a minute, I'll copy this. Copy, Bedrock. I'm going to change the model to Anthropic Sonnet, apply, and see this one here. I have a small icon which is for uploading something, and I am going to select a specific image which I have just uploaded. It has something to do with lab, not LSB, LAB, and this is my lab 2 is the serverless ML which I have selected, and I provided this information to it, and I said, hey, describe this image detail. Done. What it is going to do, it is going to give me all the information, all that, what this illustration is, what is my data source, what is happening here. So yeah, it is a good thing, right? You could take the image and then get started from there and then bring up. And the last thing, I know we are almost time, so let me show one more thing. I go to it and say, okay, that is good what information you provided. I could ask it to generate more diagrams from it, like probably mermaid diagram which most of the software developers build. So we could ask it, and see, this one is interesting. So I have this image, I save that, and I say and ask afterward that, okay, I want it to be used to write a cloud formation. So I have this image, lab1 to serverless PNG, and I am going to ask my model to think like a solution architect, and then ask me to explain the architecture, so it can perform all these things. And this I could put into the system prompt. Got my point? So this is my system prompt. So whatever it is going to do, it is going to do with the solution architect mindset. And then I go ahead and say, okay, this is my task, and please provide me the cloud formation template also. No problem. So I go ahead here, I delete this, I clear all these things up, I provide this information, and I upload the image which we had. There was a second image which I am going to use here, which is not LSB, LAB, and this was my serverless architecture image. I provided this information and I say run. So what happens now? It is able to perform the operation for me. Let me copy the output. It is still coming, I guess, still running. So it is running, and it should be able to give me some output. Right, so see this, it is able to understand these resources and see this information. It has started creating the architectural diagram as well as the cloud formation template for me. So this is my cloud formation template. It is creating the resources, what all resources are needed, what is my CFN template starts with. All this information is made available for me. So it's pretty easy. You just provide a diagram. Obviously it may not be a perfect cloud formation like you see here, but it is giving you a good way of getting started. So see, this is my template. It knows there is a API gateway, a Lambda function, replace with your actual Lambda function code, then Lambda role, SES policy, API gateway. So it knows what it is, and through that you are able to get the most possible outcome, and much easier, no complication, just a prompt and you are good. All right. So I hope everyone is clear. Let me summarize what we discussed so far. So to a model, you would be sending a prompt. A prompt would be then generating an answer for you. You may give a prompt and give one more example to your prompt or to a model. That will be your answer. Second, I could say prompt and few example. That is a few shot prompting. If I'm doing one example, it is one shot. If I'm giving few example, few shot prompting. And if I say do this and this and this, that is what we call chain of thought. And if I'm not doing any short prompting, that would automatically becoming a zero shot prompting. So this is a summary of what we discussed so far. Zero shot, one shot, few shots, and chain of thought. Hopefully everyone is able to relate and understand how all these things work. So we'll share the workshop link. please go ahead and utilize it so that you would be able to get the most out of it. I had few more slides, but obviously we are not having time, but I'll put the slides into the content so you could go ahead and access it also. So thanks everyone. Hope everyone has enjoyed and learned something. Now it's time for behavioral track. So I'm going to ask Prasad to be on the stage and then Camelia too, and I'll take a backstage now.
Thank you, Ashish. This was awesome. Even I learned a lot. Everyone who has enjoyed the session, please do like it on the YouTube. I see everyone saying +2. We have around 500 people joining, but if you like the session,
YouTube is not saying the same story, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And do subscribe to the channel. And with that, let's switch gears and let me add Camelia to the stage. And let's do it. This is
Hey,
better.
Camelia.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
So for everyone who are joining us new, let me introduce myself. I am Prasad Rao, Principal Solutions Architect at AWS here in London. I've been with AWS for 5 years. And yes, I do interview a lot at AWS. And to help you understand what we look at AWS in a solutions architect candidate, mainly when we shortlist. Today we have Camelia joining with us. She's a recruiter at AWS, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, Prasad, and everyone else. So I'm Camelia, and I'm a technical recruiter as per the introduction. I've been a technical recruiter for a very, very long time, and I've basically dedicated my career to helping individuals navigate the complexities of job applications and interviews. I'm passionate about demystifying the hiring process and sharing insights that empower candidates to succeed. So yeah, I'm excited to delve into this topic. So yeah, thanks for having me here, Prashad.
Thank you, Camelia. So first question, I know that you hire a lot for the SA candidates, specifically in the EMEA region. So
Yeah.
when you if there is a job, what are the specific key qualifications of the background that you or the recruiters look when searching for a solutions architect candidates?
Mhm. Well, that's a very good first question. Since we are speaking about solution architects, I must confess that basically we are looking for two things. So first would be the technical and functional fit, and the second one would be the behavioral fit, or how people see as soft skills. When it comes to the technical fit, we are not looking for a specific skill set. We are generally looking for candidates who are experts in their field. So whether that is infrastructure, data layer, application layer, or microservices computing offer, it doesn't matter so much. What matters is that those candidates are expert in their fields and have a willingness to learn more about the AWS platform and services. Um, as well, we are looking for the soft skills, as I was mentioning. As the solution architect is basically a customer facing role, we are obviously looking for strong communicators. We are looking for candidates with customer facing skills. And also candidates that have experience leading technical projects and influencing technical decisions up to CXO, CEO level, and so on.
Yeah, you mentioned a few good points there. As solutions architect, yes, we are technical folks, but we also have a lot of customer facing responsibilities that we do, right? And yes, we do even talk to CXO level of customers. It also depends upon what level you're applying for. Like we do have associate solutions architects, we have principal solutions architect, and we'll dive deep a bit more into what requirements are required at each of the level. But let's continue the conversation. So if there is a job and people are applying for it through resume, they're applying through the resume, right? In fact, let's do one thing.
Mhm.
If you're okay, I'm going to I'll share my screen and let's find a solutions architect job that is currently open. And then you can walk me through what happens step by step behind the scene when someone applies there.
Absolutely.
Cool. Let's do that. Let me share my screen. So Amazon.jobs, it doesn't matter. Like, does it matter where people apply from? Do they apply from LinkedIn or do they apply from Amazon.jobs or somewhere else?
No, it doesn't really matter. When you look for Amazon jobs on LinkedIn, you will see that it redirects you to our Amazon job portal. So either Amazon jobs or LinkedIn, they all end up in the same queue of applications.
Okay, so if let's say someone applies from there,
Mhm.
does it happen that AI filters them out? Like everyone thinks about that there is some ATS system that filters the resumes, and there is no human actually looking into their resume, and that is why their resumes are not getting shortlisted. Is that true?
No, we don't use AI or an applicant tracking system, ATS basically, to automatically screen or reject candidates. Our hiring process involves basically human recruiters like myself reviewing applications manually. So if you ask me what this means for candidates, so basically each candidate should know that every application is reviewed by a recruiter, so formatting tricks like beating the ATS, stuffing keywords in one place are absolutely unnecessary. We also look for experience, skills, and alignment with our leadership principles, just rather than just matching keywords. So to make sure that the CV is as detailed as needed. And also, I think that it would help if candidates would have a personalized and well-structured resume, because it matters more than AI optimized ones, considering especially that a recruiter reviews the CV. So, of course, we do have internal tools. We manage candidates automatically with the help of different tools, but there's absolutely no automatic filtering method. So we do encourage candidates to craft their CVs as it would have been read by a person, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. And there are some questions that I see on the screen. Very quickly, I'll start answering them. How to get shortlisted in AWS, Sunil? That's what we are going to discuss right now. Do we have any link or document share about how many rounds of essay is? Wait for the next session that talks about end-to-end essay interview process at AWS. The question after that is, what are different job levels for solutions architect inside AWS? We'll talk about it in a moment. The question after is really interesting, given you might be receiving so many resumes, and that is one of the questions that I want to ask. And for that, let's find a job for solutions architect, and then we will see if you receive, like, best case scenario, you will receive few resumes and you're able to shortlist. But
Yes.
like if you're receiving hundreds of applications, how are you going to shortlist, right? So we'll talk about
Yes,
that.
absolutely. Yeah.
And let's search for this in London location. What do you think? You and me both are in London location. So let's search for this in London location, a solutions architect job, and let's see if we find any solutions, any openings. Senior solutions architect. So for the person who has asked the question that how many levels do we have for solutions architect? In fact, at AWS or Amazon, we have multiple levels starting from L4, which is kind of associate. If you see here, solutions architect intern, that starts at L4, right, Camelia?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
L4. And this, a senior would be a L6. And if it's just solutions architect, that would be a L5 role. And as you can see, there are multiple roles here. One is senior solutions architect for a hybrid for ERO. One is for an intern. Then we have a specialist solutions architect for Amazon QuickSight. Then we have Gen AI as specialist solutions architect. Of course, that has to be there. Then we have a partner solutions architect. Then we have another partner solutions architect. Then we have a principal solutions architect. That's a L7 role. So as you can see, we have multiple roles here. So Camelia, which one do you want to go into? Should we pick this one? Anyone else you prefer?
Let's choose the enterprise transformation one.
Enterprise transformation. Yes, that makes actually good sense because there are specific skills that would be required for this. Okay, now even before talking about like how you screen the resumes, as a candidate, I land upon this role. How should I look into this role and feel that okay, I am a good fit or not, whether I should be applying for this or not? And
Mhm.
secondly, if I feel that as per my experience or as per my skills, I feel that this is the right role for me, what things I should mention in my resume so that
Mhm.
when I click apply now and it receives you, you look at the resume and say that okay, let's shortlist this, because I have heard, and tell me if it is true or not, that a recruiter does not spend more than 7 to 10 seconds on one resume to shortlist or reject, right? So
That's probably true. Yeah. We
Okay.
are very fast readers.
Okay, so yeah, so they will be having very less time to make an impression. So two questions here. First, what they should be looking into this to understand they're a good fit or not to apply, and if they feel that they're a good fit, how should that reflect in the resume?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Um, when looking at the job description, like in general, this one or another one, basically I recommend candidates to focus on 6 key elements. So first, we have understanding the team and the company culture, and that you can usually see under the description. Then breaking down the job responsibilities. The third thing that I recommend them to look at is assessing the basic qualifications. The fourth would be evaluating the preferred qualifications. Then they should really consider the work environment. And then, obviously, as you mentioned, understanding the application and hiring process and how to craft their CVs to be selected for the role. So
Yeah.
let's start with the first one. So understanding the team and the company context. Um, through our description, you usually could understand the broad purpose of the role. So reading that, you can obviously ask yourself, what does this team do? How does it fit into the company's goals? Now, we are speaking about global IT and application outsourcing role, the one that Prasad is showing us here. That's what GBITS comes from.
Yeah.
And this is part of the partner organization. Now, the job's mission, as per the job description, is to help enterprise customers migrate and modernize IT infrastructure on AWS. And it does speak about the culture as well, because it emphasizes collaboration, customer obsession, and enterprise transformation. So, how to assess fit from all these things? Well, basically, if you enjoy working with enterprise clients, partners, and large scale IT solutions, then probably this role is for you. If you prefer something hands on with more coding or strategic transformation, then maybe this role is not the right fit for you. Now, if we move further, we do have the key job responsibilities. And this section basically tells you what you'll actually do on a day-to-day basis. It also shows you how strategic, technical, or customer-facing the role is. And you can even get a hint on the seniority based on these key job responsibilities. Some examples here, as you see, include enterprise cloud strategy, migration and transformation, customer engagement, solutions development, um, process improvement, and so on. So how to assess whether this is a fit for you? Well, basically, if you have cloud migration experience, solution architecture expertise, if you enjoy consulting, then for sure you are a good fit. If you prefer pure hands-on coding or something with minimal customer interaction, then probably this role may not be ideal. Now, moving forward, we have a few descriptions about the company's culture. You can see why you would choose AWS, what we think about diversity and inclusion, how we define work-life balance, and so on. You should definitely read this in order to see whether your principles align with us and whether our company is a good fit for you. And then moving forward is the basic qualifications. So basic qualifications, as per the title, is the minimum must-have skills for the role. If you do not meet these basic qualifications, then probably you are not a good fit for the role. These basic qualifications, you should treat them all at once. So basically, it's not sufficient to meet just one of the basic qualifications. Usually, you really need to meet all of them in order to be suitable for the role. So for this role specifically, if you've worked with cloud projects and have a solid IT background, you would likely qualify. However, if you've never worked on cloud migration or enterprise IT projects, you may need more experience before applying. We do have another set of qualifications, which are the preferred ones. And as per the name, this is something that is nice to have, but not mandatory for this type of role. You don't need all of them for sure, but having at least one or a few of them gives you a bit of an edge. We are for this role, we would definitely welcome AWS expertise or solution architecture or IT consulting background, business communication, and so on. So bottom line is that if you only have the technical skills but lack the customer engagement experience, then probably this role is not for you, and you would need to improve a little bit more on the customer facing experience. So yeah, this is like the qualifications that you should consider when applying for the job, but that's not everything. I encourage candidates to also look at other things like work environment. For example, in this job description, somewhere at the beginning, it's mentioned travel up to 30% for customer meetings. So it also mentions global team collaboration. So if you enjoy traveling and meeting with global teams and discussing a project, then this role is for you. However, if you are restricted to travel, probably you should look for another solution architect role who doesn't have that work environment. So yeah, this is basically how to understand the role. And then, as Prasad mentioned, you should really understand what it takes for you to get into the application process and how to be successful there.
So let me recap. You talked about multiple things. Now, this seems to be a fairly senior level role, which requires people to have that level of experience to apply. Not all
Yes.
solutions architects. So do not get overwhelmed when you see such kind of roles. Try and find, and that's why it requires time for you to browse through hundreds of open roles and go through them to understand what fits your experience, right? Uh,
Yes.
and there was a question that is coding necessary to become a solutions architect? No, it's a
No.
good to have. It's not a must have. There are people completely from infrastructure background who might not be having coding experience, but they will be also a good fit for solutions architect role. Solutions architect role, if you have heard the previous session that was done by Jeff Barr and Paul Duffy, they talked about what's the role of a solutions architect. And there you would see that we have solutions architect as a generic as well as specialist solutions architect, right? So you would need deep level of expertise on one of them if you would like to become a specialist solutions architect. But in general, if you have a broad understanding of a lot of technologies, then also you're a good fit for solutions architect role. Uh, Now, yes, coming to basic and preferred, this is actually important. Like when I remember when I was applying for the role at AWS like 5 years before, I ensured that my resume shows everything that is there in the basic qualification. In the preferred,
Yes.
like here we have only 3 points. In some places you will say 7 or 8 points in the preferred. Do not get overwhelmed. You don't need to have each and every point in the preferred. Just a 2 or 3 points out of all the 7, 8 points, or one out of these three would be good enough because they are preferred. There are a lot of other skills that you can bring onto table. Talk about those in your resume. Now, coming to that, there were a few questions here on the chat here, Camelia, about how long a resume would be. Like it should be 2 pager, 1 pager, longer, and especially as you mentioned that you are very fast readers and you look into a resume for 7 to 10 seconds. What are the pros and cons of of this particular question? What do you suggest?
Well, I would suggest everyone to craft their resume in order to make sure that it basically captures the exact level of skills and experience. And also, I would encourage people to make a resume that is basically personalized for the job in order to make it as short as possible. For example, if you are already in a solution architect role, then make sure that you capture in the resume your technical expertise, the project experience, the soft skills indicators, whether you have leadership experience, client interactions, speaking engagements, technical blog posts, or so on. Make sure to include the industry experience because that is also important if you have relevant market experience and so on. And also the education and the certification because it's important to see whether there is relevant degrees or professional certifications, and also continuous learning indicators. So as long as these bullet points are in the CV can be as short as possible. However, I would also include the professional experience, because it's important to see continuous work experience, how you evolve in your role, and so on. Those are equally important for a recruiter. And for candidates that do not have the solutions architecture experience, because I'm sure there's plenty that are just wanted to get into this type of job, I would encourage them to list in the CV everything that is transferable. So whether you have architecture, design, or customer interaction experience, or technical leadership experience, if you've worked with similar cloud platforms, or if not, what kind of certifications you have, whether you learned on your own about AWS, whether you demonstrate some strong technical foundation in your own domain, and so on. And if possible, to build an AWS projects portfolio. Obviously, that is another thing that would get you further in the process.
Cool. So now I'll try and dive deep more on this. Now, you've made really good points about what a person should be showing on the resume. The length would not matter much as long as it catches the recruiter's attention, right? And you mentioned about so catching recruiter attention. Like, is there a hook that people should be putting on their resume so that, okay, this looks interesting? So what should be top things that she should be having in front of, like, the resume?
I think that the hook of the resume is basically two hooks: the technical expertise and the soft skill indicators. So if you would ask me, I would prefer to see that on top of the CV. Like, I am experienced with this on the technical level, and I worked with this kind of customers, and achieved this kind of project. So definitely including these two tabs at the beginning of your resume would basically be like a hook for the recruiter to read further and delve deeper into your experience and your CV. But to be fair, as a recruiter, we do see many CVs and we look through all of them, even if they are well captured, or maybe you need to read a little bit more to understand.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, cool. I think there is a couple of questions on, I think, sponsorship. That how would a candidate know? So, to everyone, AWS does provide sponsorship, but it's based on few roles. Like, I got sponsorship when I applied. So there are few roles for which AWS provides sponsorship. There are few roles for which AWS does not provide ship. It totally depends upon role to role. Am I right, Camelia? That's what my understanding is.
Yes, and I think there is a big difference between sponsorship and relocation. Whether we provide relocation for a certain role as well as sponsorship is usually visible in the job description on Amazon Jobs, because it tells you. However, if you are already in the country and you need sponsorship, then you don't need to worry, because Amazon provides sponsorship for every candidate that they select. We may not provide relocation all the time, but in terms of sponsorship, if you are already in the country, we will do our best to facilitate that.
Oh, that's good to know. Cool. Okay. Now let's switch gears. Okay, we understood that for this specific role, let's say if people apply and then you get a lot of resumes, you do screen through them as much as possible and use shortlist candidates and put it probably in front of hiring manager, right?
Yes.
But if you like, more often than not, I believe so that there are roles for which you do not find the right candidate.
Exactly.
How do you search for the right candidates?
So indeed, there is more specialized roles, or roles in different locations where the number of candidates, the applicants is not as high as we would hope. In these scenarios, we often turn first to our database, because in our database, we may find candidates that are close to the skill set or to the location we are looking for. We also reach out directly to candidates on LinkedIn. Obviously, we select them based on the jobs criteria before we reach out. And we also stimulate a lot referrals because we consider that great candidates bring great candidates, and we obviously trust our builders when they refer us with a candidate.
Great. Let's talk about when you search it on like LinkedIn, right?
Mhm,
You search.
Yeah.
So what, as a candidate, what should I showcase on my profile so that when a
mhm,
recruiter lands on my page, they
mhm,
feel that they are a good fit for AWS as a solutions architect role?
mhm. I think that the LinkedIn profile should basically mirror the CV. I understand that there's basically different taglines and headlines for each tab on LinkedIn. However, it should definitely mirror your CV, because when a recruiter receives your CV through the application and finds your profile on LinkedIn, they should realize that it's same person basically. When it comes to the skills per se, I would suggest to include everything related to technical expertise, the skills that one has worked on, and also to list the projects that they've been part of. And unlike applications, LinkedIn works a bit different. Because LinkedIn recruiters search on LinkedIn based on keywords, and those keywords are usually matched from either the LinkedIn profile or the skills tab of LinkedIn. So do make sure that you have as many skills listed there as possible, because yeah, that's how recruiters basically initially filter your profile based on skills, based on location. And then as for the CVs, we obviously open the profile and we dive a little bit deeper. So do make sure that there's indication there about your soft skills and the projects that you've worked on, and basically something that would hint us on the seniority that you have.
That's actually true. Hinting the seniority is important in case if you have a good level of experience, then your LinkedIn profile or resume should reflect that.
Yes.
Instead of just saying that you have worked on this, if you talk about the impact that you have made, that showcases your seniority. Now there are some questions on the cloud certifications. Uh, okay, is cloud certification important? When recruiters are
Uh,
evaluating the potential essay candidates, whether through resume or through LinkedIn.
yes, that's a very good question. Well, what I can tell you is that having cloud certification surely doesn't hurt. So if you are already an experienced solution architect that has been working with cloud and this type of technologies for a very, very long time, then probably certification are not that important. Here's the reality. The certifications can definitely help you stand out, especially on LinkedIn, where basically recruiters use keywords to search for candidates. They can even use AWS certifications as keywords. But they are most helpful if you are just transitioning into the cloud role or you don't have direct experience. If you already have invested in learning AWS best practices and you have experience in working with AWS technologies or even other cloud related technologies, real world problem solving and hands-on knowledge, then probably the AWS certification is not that important. Our interview process focuses on real world experience. You will ask about examples from your experience. So having this type of experience is almost equal to having an AWS certification. So yeah, if you are at the beginning of your career, I definitely encourage you to take the certifications, as basically shows your desire to learn and be curious and learn more about the platform and so on. But if you are already established in your career, then surely your professional experience amounts more than an associate level certification.
I love the way you keep dropping AWS leadership principles in between while you are speaking. That gets ingrained, right, when we are at AWS. So yeah, to
Absolutely.
summarize, if you are an experienced professional, then certification will not matter much. It's good to have, not a must to have. It's a byproduct that you would be having if you have the knowledge. But if you are
Yes.
someone who do not have experience working on cloud in your current job or you're transitioning careers, then AWS certifications does provide a very good roadmap for you to learn. right? And then it also showcases your skills that you have taken that initiative, learned it, and you have got, and but also hands-on experience matter a lot. So in case if you're not getting that hands-on experience in your current job, try if you are able to do some side projects on your own, and that is going to really help you. Okay, with that, I know we are coming almost to the end of it, and I see Ashish on the screen. So yeah, Ashish, go for it. Ashish, you are on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go for it.
Okay, interesting discussion, Prasad and Camelia. And I thought like if we have more time, we could have discussed, and probably that's why we need Camelia again in our chat session. So she's coming again. So hold on to your questions, some of you. And I have two questions which I'm picking up from the chat. First one is about how much is importance of cover letter? Do you actually read it or you discard it?
It's a very good question. I think it as well depends on the job level and the candidate's level. For very senior jobs, executive level jobs, senior principal level, we do expect candidates to know why they are interested in the role and understand very well the context and how they would match that specific role. However, for more junior roles, or maybe for instances where candidates do not have direct experience with AWS, I think it would be very beneficial for them to drop a few notes why they consider them suitable, what sort of transferable skills they have, and how they think they would be successful in their role. So yeah, I think it depends a lot on the candidate's level.
Makes sense. And I want to pick one more question here, just from Utsav. Does referral help? It feels like in current world, everything goes into a black box.
Well, in general, I would say that they definitely do not hurt. We do evaluate candidates based on skills and experience and alignment with the leadership principles, not just whether they got referred or not. So while referrals can certainly open you the door because someone from the company uploads your CV in the portal basically, and they can maybe even ping the recruiter for you to get your CV in front. It doesn't guarantee anything. What guarantees you a job is a well-crafted CVs, the qualifications, the experience, the interview performance, and so on. Having a referral, obviously, besides the interview, the initial interview stage would help you down the line because you get a chance to ask about the interview process, how to be more successful. You get more insights in the job. So yeah, obviously a referral is important, but it is not mandatory to get a job or even to get your CV viewed by a recruiter.
That's true. So think about referral, not just that getting your resume shortlisted, but also as a means that you have someone in the company who can help you through the entire process. You can understand what kind of questions are being asked. It can help you prepare for the whole interview process. So build your relationships so that you are, it helps you in the long term rather than, hey, here is my resume. Can you please refer me to this role?
Yeah,
If
that's
that
not going to
happens,
help.
it's not going to help. See, because if someone I know really well and they reach out to me, I not only just put their resume in the system, but I also go a mile extra and ping the recruiter and the hiring manager saying that, hey, I referred this person, can you have a look? Right. So
Exactly.
that might help. So build that level of relationship and trust with your referrals so that they will go extra mile for you. And that's when it's going to really matter. Otherwise, very frankly, if your resume is good, then it will be all good. I know a lot of people who have just applied directly and they have been able to get in.
Makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah, means I see people like when I post a job posting on LinkedIn, people just say, "I'm interested." Come on, what does it mean? Should I go to you and ask for your resume? Talk to me, right? So
Yeah.
it makes sense to be a little proactive in this type of thing. But yeah, it's a great session, Camelia. Prasad asked very good question, and people, we may not be able to answer every single question you had, but keep them coming. And Camelia is again coming on our show, so we would have more chat with her, and we'll understand things in much better ways.
Yes, we understand that you will be having a lot of questions about solutions architect as a role, the interview process. Look at the agenda of the 8 weeks. This is just the
Yes.
second week. We have 6 more weeks. The next week, the agenda is understand the full end-to-end interview process. The week after, we'll talk about specifically dive deep on the online assessments. Then the week after, we'll dive deep about
Phone interview.
technical interviews. Then the loop interview. Then we have an Amazon bar raiser coming on. So we have a full series plan to help you understand end to end the role of a solutions architect and how you can be successful in this particular role. Awesome. Thank you
Great.
so much.
Thank you, everyone. And we will hopefully have more conversation. Keep your questions coming, provide feedback, like YouTube, put information on LinkedIn so that we know that you are enjoying, and any feedback is good feedback. So please share. And thank you, Camelia, so much, Prasad, and we will see you all again. Thank you so
Thank you for
much.
having me.
Thanks, Camelia.
Now,
Bye.
I just want to take 1 more minute so that everyone knows what is expected from them so that they get the best out of it. So next step, complete the workshop. We'll be sharing the link to you, workshop 1 and workshop 2. That will be coming into a mail. Wait for a mail by Monday. You should have it. Obviously, we have our own things on Saturday, Sunday. Share the learning in LinkedIn group. Help other in Discord channel. So there is a Discord channel which you can go for. And then you can spread word about PESA program. So we have created 2 graphic 1 and 2. If you want to put your photo and say, hey, I'm attending PESA program, join me, please do that. And we have here provide feedback in YouTube. So comment, like, we would be all happy to see all the good things which are coming out of this program. So feel free to share and feel free to invite others also to the program.
Yes, I would like to double down on learn in public, right? When you are doing this
Exactly.
workshop, I know few people who have actually started, like putting these things that they are learning on GitHub page, and they're started, like on their GitHub, and they started sharing that on their LinkedIn. So share it publicly with everyone so that your network knows that what you are learning, and that will help you build the credibility, right? It's just not, if you're doing it in silo, then no one else would be knowing. Try and see how you can raise your profile by building and learning in public and share it widely.
All the best, everyone, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much, and let us know how you like the session. Thank you.
Thank you.